As the partial government shutdown stretched into its third week, hundreds of thousands of affected employees missed their first paychecks Friday. Later in our show, we'll learn more about the shutdown's impact on workers and services. But first, a closer look at what's at the center of the stalemate on Capitol Hill: border security and immigration. As we've reported, Customs and Border Protection has seen a sharp rise in the number of families asking for asylum within the last year. Days before the shutdown began, we saw firsthand what that looks like during a brief trip to San Luis, Arizona, outside Yuma.
166.
Our ride with Yuma Sector Border Patrol begins before sunrise. Agent Jose Garibay is showing us an area along the Colorado River.
So we're about a half a mile from the border.
We're here because the area has seen more large groups of Central American immigrants walk past this vehicle barrier fencing and surrender to federal agents. The agency refers to this tactic as give-ups.
There's so many different reasons why an individual or a smuggling organization may choose to cross here. It may be because the smuggling organization that's operating in those Central American countries owns certain routes to this area, and that they know it works and it's a proven tactic. So for them, why would they change something that isn't broken?
This past November, agents apprehended nearly 5,800 family units in the Yuma sector. Last year, November, the number was under 2,000. That's nearly 3 times the number of apprehensions as a year ago.
We're seeing activity out here at all times of the day. There's no specific popular time frame. It's just whenever these smugglers that are taking these families up from Central America, smuggling them over to San Luis and up here, we're on their timeline. They know that we're here 24/7.
On this particular morning, along this portion of the border, no one crosses. Agent Garibay drives us south into San Luis. We see the new modes of enforcement that includes concertina wiring surrounding the port of entry. Agent Garibay says Yuma recently received 50 additional Border Patrol agents to help with the increased arrest. Farther east, we see different styles of fencing and reminders that this border has had security measures in place for a very long time. Vietnam-era landing mats, steel bollards, and a secondary fence referred to as expanded steel that's 18 feet tall. Agent Garibay says crossing the border has always been dangerous, but it's becoming riskier. So in this particular area, you recently saw a young woman who had crossed over and seriously injured herself.
It was a Friday afternoon at about 1 p.m. A 14-year-old child attempted to breach over the border wall with her mother and 4 other individuals. And during the process, she actually fell backwards off of the border wall and broke multiple vertebrae in her back in the process.
Immediately after, a 17-year-old girl traveling alone injured her ankle crossing in the same spot.
Once you see those individuals crossing over the border wall, there's not much you can do to stop it. You can't go up to them and tell them you have to go back. You can't physically force them to go back. So all we can do is just anticipate what's going to happen next. An agent observed a young girl on the floor and relayed that to our dispatch center, who called for emergency medical assistance.
This surveillance video from November shows smugglers dropping small children over the wall.
So we want to advise all these individuals that are thinking about coming to the United States, go through the proper channels. Don't put your family through a dangerous situation such as this where something like that could happen.
Garibay says added security measures have pushed people further out into areas where it's easier to cross.
Specifically referring to the Colorado River area, where we have vehicle barriers and things that only stand about 4 to 4.5 feet high and are designed to stop vehicles from traversing illegally into the United States, and not necessarily family units who are pouring over the border by the hundreds in some cases.
From here, we drive back to the Colorado River area. On the road, we listen to radio traffic, talking about a group of 9 people who just surrendered to agents.
Yeah, go ahead. I just picked up 9 north of 198, a couple hundred yards.
And as soon as we park along the levee, we see firsthand what Agent Garibay described earlier: a young couple carrying a child who crossed a vehicle barrier and walked directly into Border Patrol custody.
So these 3 individuals, one was a father, a mother, 2 the child that they were traveling with. He stated that he was 18 years old. ¿Tiene más familia en Honduras? No? ¿Tiene familia en los Estados Unidos? She stated that she was in her early 20s and that their child was 2 years old and that they've been traveling for approximately 2 months to come to the United States from Honduras. ¿Tiene familia en los Estados Unidos? ¿Su abuela? ¿Dónde está su abuela? Kentucky? They didn't say specifically where they were heading, but she did say that she had a grandmother currently in the United States, in Kentucky. So presumably they could be traveling there or elsewhere. Gracias.
The agents begin the family's immigration process. Within minutes, another agent arrives to transport them to the Yuma station, where they'll be evaluated, fed, and questioned.
Pónganse los cinturones de seguridad.
Then minutes later, less than 100 yards from us, a group of Central Americans approach agents after crossing the same stretch of vehicle barrier.
In this specific group, we had 29 illegal aliens. 26 of them were Guatemalan nationals, and the other 3 were Hondurans. We actually had 14 children here.
We watch as agents tell the group to sit in a line, remove their bags and paperwork.
Many of these individuals come with documents pre-prepared, some in Ziploc baggies. They'll have identifications photocopied, so they'll just have a paper of it. They'll have their birth certificates. One individual here actually had paperwork from the hospital that her supposed child was born in.
Agents begin asking questions like if anyone needs medical attention. No one says they need help. Agents begin their first phase of the immigration journey in the U.S., documenting names and countries. The families sit and wait. One mother nurses her baby. How likely are these families, if they are who they say they are, to stay together while they're in your custody?
During the investigative process, we're going to ask and make sure that they're families, and these families, they'll be put together based on, if the single males will be put together, single females, and we want to make sure that all these individuals are safe while in our custody. And we want to make sure that these individuals, they don't have criminal history or other things that could harm the citizens of the United States.
In December, 2 children died while in the custody of Border Patrol in New Mexico and Texas. The week following our tour, Secretary of Homeland Security Kirstjen Nielsen visited the Yuma station. CBP has since deployed medical units from the Coast Guard to the southern border to ensure children receive at least 2 health screenings.
You definitely have to take consideration into the age and in their health, and we take special consideration into small children and making sure that they're safe, because ultimately we don't want anybody to die on their journey into the United States. So we've taken all kinds of different precautions in order to help make sure that they're safe when they're in our custody.
I ask if these individuals will be treated any differently than those at the ports of entry.
If they are looking for asylum or do claim credible fear, then they've crossed illegally into the United States, and that is a crime. The individuals that are waiting down at the port of entry are doing it the proper way and waiting in line in order to be processed by customs officials. So these individuals that will be notated in their file, and they will be transferred into the custody of ICE ERO. We treat all individuals in our custody the same, and that is with respect as human beings.
To get a better sense of current reality at the border, our crew traveled south into San Luis, Mexico, a vibrant city that more than 170,000 people call home. In recent weeks, hundreds more have taken up residency along the international line. Dozens of families, mostly from the interior of Mexico, have set up a makeshift camp along the border wall. Men, women, and children waiting to be processed for asylum. On this day, we meet Meldy, a woman from Chiapas, Mexico, more than 1,000 miles from San Luis. She's traveling with her 2 young daughters. She shows us a notebook with a list of everyone who's waiting. It shows the name, how many people are in each group, the state they're from, and where she is on the list. Meldy left her home 9 days ago. It took 4 days to travel by bus, and for the last 5 days, she's lived outdoors here in San Luis.
We pay 5 pesos to use the bathroom over there. We buy what we can, and then people bring us things. So do the people passing by here. That's how we manage.
Meldy says life has always been tough in Mexico.
Because of the crime, and we have nothing to live on over there. There aren't even places to work, and there's a lot of machismo. Women have to stay in the home and serve the husband.
Over the last few months, she says, word spread that now was the time to come request asylum in the U.S. She says they wait every day for an asylum officer. Some days, a few families are allowed in to make their case.
From over there, they talk to us. They ask how many of you are in line, and we tell them how many of us are here and on the list. Then they take whoever is next on the list. They go that way, and that's the last we see of them.
Other days, she says, no one gets let in. Customs and Border Protection declined to provide specifics on the number of people processed daily, instead referring us to a website listing the number of family units denied entry into the U.S. ports of entry. In fiscal year 2018, CBP stopped more than 10,000 family units from entering Arizona, deeming them inadmissible. It was a nearly 50% increase from the previous fiscal year. There's a consensus among the group here that if their asylum claims are denied,
Then we'll stay around here and find work.
Melody hopes to make it to Florida, where her cousin lives. I asked her if she worried about her daughters and their future. She said it would be worse to stay in Chiapas.
Before, the women had to just deal with it, and now we can say we don't want this life.
The next morning, our crew was on the U.S. side as volunteers distribute breakfast. Efforts like this are common as communities on both sides of the border come together to support these families. This is Pastor Jose Manuel Castro at the Gethsemane Baptist Church in San Luis, Arizona. These donations come from people in the community and from Caring Ministries, a national nonprofit. Everything from food to clothes is transported weekly in semis between metropolitan cities as far away as San Francisco to border communities like San Luis.
Many people bring some help to these people because they are in a very, very critical situation. Broke the heart when you cross in front of them, and the situation is very, very worse, you know. Children's and very, very poverty and very big need they have.
Pastor Castro says there's been a steady stream of supplies. He makes weekly trips to pick up donations and then deliver them to those in need.
I know that it's important, the situation, the legal situation for these people, you know, but they have hungry, they need clothes, they need a better quality of life.
So, Pastor, aside from food and water, there are other things that these families, these immigrants need.
We need more toys. Now we have a donation from Lake Havasu. This is the soccer balls, brand new too.
Even bicycles donated by local law enforcement who work along the border.
If God opened doors to provide to these people, I want to do, and I'm happy to do.
Politics aside, he says this is about providing to those in need.